I'm tired of this shit, and I want the season to end already. Hey, boys and girls. Well, I think we all feel like the woman in that photo. Oh, welcome into the Pucknologists, everybody. A After Dark Takeover yet again, and I think you'll all be happy to learn that this is the last one of these for a little while. I know Jerk and I are happy about that. Yay?
Yeah. At least this week was an early game, but yeah.
we miss our 7 o'clock starts. So, welcome back to the unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, and commercial-free Sharks podcast here on Teal Town, USA. We got 3 for you. Vegas, Nashville, and Anaheim. The return of Alex Stalock, a tight Pacific Division, and more, including a giveaway of a Sharky jersey. That should be fun. But first, you know the deal. Social media, people. Remember to subscribe to our channel and follow us there. It helps us out. And if you want to support the show at all, hit us up on Venmo. Throw something in the jar at Tealtown USA. Or you can always use the Super Chat option during live shows. So with that, it's a shitty goddamn week is what it is. No wins. You get, what, the worst loss is since, like, 2006?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, oofa. And
they got a point against a divisional opponent. That's practically a win.
If you're Curtis Brown, yes. That's what I'll say. So let's get into the game that we just saw, since this is kind of an after dark thing. So, look, the Sharks lost in the shootout 4-3 just under 2 weeks ago in Anaheim, and what happens? Well, it goes to overtime again, and again the Sharks lose. Dzingle's a healthy scratch, so I guess
for some reason.
Yeah, Bob, there was something that he's just not seeing, evidently, after, what, 2 games? 3 games, whatever it was?
Well, Bob needed a new target.
For the jam, for the jam job?
Yeah, Labanc is hurt. He's
who isn't hurt,
right? But the Labanc is hurt, and Dahlin is hurt, and Merkley. He's been forced to keep Merkley in the lineup, so Bob needed a new target, and hey, it's Dzingel apparently. Which, not to say that Dzingel has been lighting it up by any stretch. I mean, he's only got 1 goal in 6 games, but if you're in the business of generating offense, wouldn't you want guys out there who
score
more equipped to do that?
Yeah, I'm just saying. So a player called Hatika goes in for Shimmick, who has a upper body injury. Sawchenko gets his first NHL start. I thought he looked good.
Yeah, me too.
Now, like recency bias. If you all remember what happened to Stalock last night, Sawchenko looked fucking amazing.
.917 save percentage for Sawchenko tonight.
Dude.
He looked good. And he made the right saves,
Oh, huge. Definitely came up big. And this is another game for me. And, I'm sure we bang the drum so many times, or at least I do. Special teams could have been huge tonight, but you went 0 for 3 on the power play.
Jesus. Well, and it's there's so many little things that have all contributed. I mean, 0 for 3 on the power play, as you mentioned as well. 38% on the faceoffs. Like, you're not scoring if you don't have the puck on your stick.
And when was the last time the Sharks got more pucks on net than the opposing team? Like, they keep getting outshot game after game after game. And I was wondering if they're going to set a record at one point for, like, amount of periods put together consecutively where they don't hit double digits on the shot clock counter.
Which it's kind of surprising to me, because I feel like historically the Sharks are a team that put up a lot of shots.
They used to be.
Right. That was the Todd McClellan way of doing business, I guess. But
well, look, what happens here? Sharks open the scoring. Couture gets on the board. They get a little penalty trouble in the first. Comtois would tie it after missing a trip on Couture. I still don't understand how that didn't get called. Whatever. Noted sniper and perennial Richard contestant Marc-Edouard Vlasic would get a 2-1 lead, a shot that goes in off Shattenkirk. Milano ties it in the final minute of the second. You got Middleton so close to getting a shorty, which would have been amazing. Unfortunately, that is deemed offside after review, so we go on to overtime. And how long did overtime take? About 10 seconds, 15 seconds?
14.
There you go. See? Yeah. I knew it wasn't much. However, we, I guess, had some, what do you call it? Confusion or commotion. There was people had some things to say at the end of this, and most of it was coming from Bob Boughner. He says, an absolute blown call. The refs couldn't get off the ice fast enough. That's Boughner on the overtime winner, and no explanation from the refs. I got to be honest, how was it a blown call?
Yeah, I mean, people are going to point out that, and you can go look at the slow motion GIF on the Teal Town USA Twitter account. People are going to point out that Henrique was still on the ice, but he was completely out of the play.
Yeah, he was going off. They took advantage of the fact that Couture was focused on Henrique, didn't pay attention that he was going off.
Worth saying, as Couture should have been.
Yeah. And for me, it's
Couture had his guy.
Yeah. And Raquel took advantage of Couture sleeping. Like, if I'm missing something, by all means, tell me. But I look at that and I'm like, that's just, for what I understand, that's just a really fucking smart play by Anaheim.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no problem with that. Like I said, just Henrique is completely out of the play. That's the thing with 3-on-3, right? Is it's so quick. It happens so fast, and you need to keep your head on a swivel. And I guarantee you, dude, if it's not overtime, nobody is saying anything about a line change.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, this is me 50% joking around, 50% manifesting. I'm wondering if the reason why Bob Boughner is so pissed is because he knows that this is what's going to get him fired tomorrow morning.
I look at this and I go, why the hell? And we're going to get into Boughner in a little bit. I get what you're saying. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So evidently Boughner's really pissed off. We got Pashelka tweeting out the Boughner on the officials, Kelly Sutherland, and Furman South. The thing that pisses me off the most is they don't even come over to the bench. They race off the ice, not even the respect to come and explain it.
Bob is getting a fine for that tomorrow, right?
So?
No, but I'm just saying, we've talked. How much have we talked about how soft the NHL is when it comes to the feelings of the officials, right?
Mm-hmm.
You coaches have been fined for saying I wasn't a fan of that penalty.
Dude, everything is fuck your feelings unless it's the NHL.
Not even unless it's the NHL, unless it's NHL referees and linesmen. Bob, if Bob doesn't get a fine tomorrow, I'd be surprised. Personally, I think Bob should be, we've talked about it, especially last year and to start this year, we have been, pump the brakes on the Fire Boughner talk. Let's give him a fair chance to do it right. And with this season, he's gotten a fair chance, I would argue. He had, they've had fans in the building. They didn't have to play anywhere else. They had a normal training camp, normal preseason, the whole thing.
Dude, he's had to deal with I don't know that I would say disproportionate, but surely a staggering amount of injuries.
Yeah, but who else deals with injuries? Everybody. Vegas is dealing with injuries, and they're in a playoff spot.
True that.
And what I mean to say by all of
although
that,
Vegas was trying pretty hard this week to get out of that, but anyway.
Right. But what I mean to say by all of that is, we said let's pump the brakes on calling out Bob until he gets a fair chance at this thing. Mm-hmm. He's gotten a fair chance, and on some level, I think things have gotten worse. So
I think we can agree that the room is better. Like they seem to be playing a little harder,
Oh,
a little
sure.
bit more for each other. But the thing that you have an issue with is deployment.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not, the whatever you believe, right? The organizational stance is that this is a team that can make the playoffs and play good hockey. And then you make lineup decisions that directly combat that stance.
Mm.
Not only that, but even people there are other people who say, Bob, if why fire Bob if the Sharks are rebuilding? We need a bad coach to ensure more losses. And on some level I agree with that.
Jesus.
But if the Sharks were to be a rebuilding team or a whatever terminology you want to use, you need to play your young players, and Bob has shown that he doesn't want to do that.
Didn't we see that from previous coaches as well?
DeBoer was really into that.
Yeah, it seems to be a institutional thing.
I wish, maybe it's a bit revisionist history. I kind of wish that Todd McClellan didn't get the shaft the way he did. I've grown to like him even more since he's been gone.
I would agree with that. Although I did get tired of him talking about polish. The game lacked
Right.
polish. Our play lacked polish. I got a little burnout on that. Let's see. Tomasz Hurdle saying tough goal, but in our opinion. Are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, that was super weird. Something
Collusion.
I don't know. Something weird just happened in my audio. I hope we're still live. If you could let me know in the chat, I'd appreciate it. And I've already lost the comment. Here we go. Tough goal, but in our opinion, we should have gotten a power play. Really sucks losing like that. Whatever. I thought I gave the team a chance to win, said Sachenko. Absolutely. I mean, what'd you say, 9-17?
Yep.
See, to me, that seems pretty decent.
Yeah, that's not bad numbers for a loss. Eh?
Certainly more than you got last night.
Oh God, yeah. Last night, last night was an outlier, no doubt. But a 786 for Stalock and a 750 for Sachenko.
Mm-hmm. So, again, I'm not really sure. I haven't. Well, to be fair, I'm like trying to do 20 things at once. So I don't know that I've seen, or if you're paying attention to the chat, if somebody has kind of
We're good.
explained what the explained what the issue is, like why the Sharks were all tilted, saying we should have got a power play. Like too many men on the ice.
Yeah, that's what they think is too many men on the ice, and
But you were, just like you were saying, like Henrique was out of the play.
yeah, and Shang even putting out there as well that Bugner said the Raquel goal was a blown call. Too many men on the ice all day long.
Especially, the thing pisses me off. They don't come over to the bench. Yeah. So he's saying that right there, Bobby coming out and saying blown call. Yeah, I think the bank account tomorrow probably a little lighter.
Yeah, $25,000 for sure.
They've certainly done. They've certainly find things that are even more benign than that comment, but
yeah, no kidding.
it is what it is. Didn't he
I
get a fine, or somebody from the Sharks got a fine for something even lighter than that, like last season, maybe the season? I remember there being something, or maybe it wasn't even the Sharks. I just remember somebody getting a fine, and I was just like, really? Like, you're going to find that? Like, that's the softest thing I've ever heard. Like, you're talking about warriors, guys that take pucks to the teeth, that, will lose chicklets and miss one shift, how badass they are, and they got and the constant chirping, but then you say one slightly critical thing, like, I think the officiating could have been better this evening. Boom! $25,000.
Yep.
Fuck out of here.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. So it's a 3-2 overtime loss. So the Sharks get a point. Like I said, special teams could have made a difference.
There is one thing I do want to say. So can we please put an end to the Logan Couture is past his best buy date? Can we put an end to that?
Was that something I started?
No, not you. I'm just
okay.
sort of putting it out there. You keep like and when I say you, I don't mean you.
Yeah.
I mean generally speaking.
Those people.
You keep seeing all these people, like you keep seeing Couture getting lumped in with the Vlasic and the Karlsson in terms of the anchor contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you keep saying Couture, he's clearly, people are saying, oh, Couture is not, he's not the player he was anymore. He's not a good captain. He's not getting it done. And I would like to just point out, first of all, and we've said it for the longest time, he spent half of last year injured, still had a good year. But this year, third on the team in goals, third on the team in points, and third on the team in points despite playing in less games than, one of the players ahead of him.
Hey, you know who has more points than any other Shark right now? Joe Pavelski.
Don't care. Couture is like... And if you want to say Couture needs to be traded, like that's fine. I'll hear you on that one. That's fine. But to lump Couture in with Vlasic, like it makes me wonder if you're watching the game.
Okay, let's hit a couple of comments here because obviously everybody's talking about what happened.
Why? I don't even care about that.
It says, when a player is retiring from the ice surface is within the 5-foot limit of the player's bench, his substitute is on the ice, and the retiring player shall be considered off the ice. Well, there you go. That's what it looked like to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looked like. Steve says it is absolutely too many men. Like, what is the uncertainty here? 2 feet on the ice, 4-player on, affected Couture's decision. Like, what are we talking about here? I don't know. What do you think about that, Jerk?
Why was I like what Tiger is pointing out because you can tell what Tiger says has come from some kind of rule book. My thing with Couture is, in that situation, why aren't you going after the guy that has the puck? Like the puck was on that side of the ice. I know. I really wanted to flame Burns for that goal, but it wasn't on Burns.
Let's see here. Sawchenko. Throughout my journey, I knew I could play in the NHL. Developing your game, fine-tuning your game, and earning the trust to get a start. Trust the process and go brick by brick. What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Could we talk more cliche, please?
No, I like that. I like that response.
All right. Sawchenko, it's a long road to get here. That's what makes it special. It was a cool moment for sure. Well, I would imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I just think, especially with this game against the Ducks, kind of going back to what I was saying, I hate seeing, like I said, I hate seeing Couture getting lumped in with like Vlasic. You know what I mean? And like,
well, at least one of them scored tonight.
They both did.
That's what I'm saying.
And I don't know. I like people for years. People have been wanting to make Couture the problem, and like I'm sorry to tell you that he's not it,
dude. It's because Bodker isn't here anymore. We got to find somebody. Somebody's wearing that target, bro.
I just don't understand. Couture, it's so hilarious to me. Couture is on pace to match his career average. Like, what more can you ask from him? Like, he's literally doing what we need him to do. I don't really know what the issue is.
What, dude, like as consistent as Martin Jones' save percentage over the last 4 years. Consistency, my man. You were getting it from Couture, and I don't know what you're complaining about. Anyway. Let's see. We got one final quote I believe I saw from Sawchenko. Thought I gave the team a chance to win. The team played really well around me. I guess Sawchenko wasn't looking at Burns very much tonight. So I guess that kind of puts the bow on this one. Again, scratches for whatever reason tonight. Dzingel and Weatherby. Not sure what that was about.
It was just the jam job. He needed somebody to... Like I said, he needed somebody to, to pick on.
So, again, Shimmick out with a upper body injury. Remember, Hill is still out. He's IR. Reimer's now on the IR. Labanc and Karlsson still on the IR. Half the goddamn team's on the fucking IR.
Yeah, Karlsson, Labanc, Reimer, Hill, Ferraro, Knyzhov, Magna, Dahlin, all on the injured reserve.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I mean, with any luck between now, because we don't, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say we, the Sharks don't play until like Thursday, right? They got a few days off.
Yes.
I'm assuming tomorrow's going to be an off day. because they're
probably should.
yeah, traveling tonight, and they've played 3 and 4 or whatever. So tomorrow will be an off day. There'll be some practice, but I'm sure we'll find out. It wouldn't surprise me to see somebody return, whether it's Karlsson, Dahlin, and Karlsson, whoever.
Well, I think
whoever doesn't get injured between now and Thursday.
I believe Karlsson is supposed to be back by Thursday, either Thursday or Saturday.
Well, there was speculation that he might even be able to go this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you would think that if he's not ready to go by this Thursday at LA, I would pencil it in that he's going to be ready for next Saturday.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
All right, that kind of does it for the Anaheim. Let's just do the show like normal now, eh? Mm-hmm. And we will get to your Bob comments soon enough, I guarantee you. But first, 3 games this week. The Sharks went 0-2-1. Through 56 games this season, the Sharks are 24, 25, and 7. Did I get that right? That sounds right.
They are 24, 25, and 7.
I thought that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. 7th in the Pac-Div, 7th in the wild card. And so for those of you at home, that's 55 points in 56 games. That is worse than hockey 500. Mm-hmm. 3, 6, and 2 over their last 11 games. 4, 6, and 3 and 10 division. I know, 3 fucking wins in 11 games. My predictions were terrible this week. I only got the Vegas loss. I had it penciled down for a Nashville win and a win for Anaheim. If Middleton's not offside, maybe we got a shot. Going 2 for 3.
You know as you said, you know what you just said, what's terrible? Is you talk about terrible. I'm looking right now. Because of how bad the Eastern Conference is, the Sharks' first-round pick is currently slated at 11th overall.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So on my predictions, though, through 56 games, you'll remember last season went 56 games. So we do have a little bit of
wish we could end it right here.
Yeah, dude. You're telling me. So I had them at 54 points with 27 wins, and they are at 55 points with 24 wins. So again, I'm pretty close.
You're in the you may not be bang on, but dude, you're in the neighborhood.
Oh, dude, I'm in the house next door.
Yeah, dude.
So what do we learn this week? I don't know. Vegas, you get a breakaway. Everybody gets a breakaway in this one, guys. Does that sound good? Nashville, worst loss since 2006 when they lost 8-0 to Jerks. My Yotes.
Is that a thing? I haven't even paid attention to them
That's
this
how
year.
long it's been since they lost. They used to be your Yotes.
So
now it's my Flames, my Kings.
Finish your spiel so we can talk about this Vegas game, because I have a couple things to say.
Vegas is a 3-1 loss, 13th straight start for Reimer, second meeting of the season. Vegas comes into this with 1 win in their previous 6 games, despite getting Jack Eichel. Their previous win coming against San Jose was a 4-1 win over San Jose.
Mm-hmm. They won tonight, though.
Yes, Vegas. Well, and I believe didn't they beat Anaheim like 2 days ago as well?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they're starting to put it together. But earlier in this week, they had fallen out of the playoff.
Yeah, it was looking critical earlier.
Well, they can't score,
right? Which is surprising to me with how good their roster is.
Yeah, Vegas has had a hell of a time putting up goals lately, especially at even strength. So I'm yowza.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Vegas game that sucked ass is this is the one where Reimer got hurt in after the first 20 minutes, right? And then Saw
Correct.
came in. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because then the next day, holy shit! Somebody fetch me Alex Stalock.
Right.
Yikes. No power plays in this one for the Sharks. And again, it's just all breakaway central. And I thought Reimer looked great before he got injured, obviously. But a bad pinch from Middleton would lead to Karlsson taking advantage of Burns and his stupid starfish posture. But Reimer ends up with a lower body injury. Sawchenko finishes out the final 40. But the big news of the day, of course, was that Noah Gregor had scored a goal.
And Noah Gregor scored a goal because of the jerk bump. You're neglecting to mention that part.
Oh, my man's at the game.
Yeah, well, not only was I at the game, but I even said in our Discord server, like a Tiger was there. He knows. And Shaka knows. See, I got receipts in the chat for me. You know,
I know people, the best people.
yeah, I said the bump is real. Gregor's gonna score, and he did. So, but you know what? So, honestly, I didn't think this game started out all that bad. Like, I thought the Sharks looked like they had some jump in the beginning of the first period, but from there, it seemed like there was just no urgency all the way through. And the Sharks weren't really getting a lot of chances, and when they did get chances, like, they just didn't go anywhere. The thing that I've now been to a Golden Knights game to see the Sharks 4 times, and consistently what I've seen in these 4 games, and I think you and I are the same, where like we don't dislike other teams' fans because they're fans of the other team, right? We don't play that game. But something that I was not really surprised to see had remained the same was, when things start to go even the slightest bit off script for the Golden Knights, their fans get like really agitated.
Oh, dude, they are so entitled.
Like I wouldn't even say entitled. I don't want to say that, but just like when they were up 2-1, like the Sharks would get a cycle going, and like the people behind me were like so pressed as if the Golden Knights were losing, and I'm like I'm thinking to myself, like everything's fine for you. Everything's fine. Like, just watch the game. Like, I don't know why you're so upset.
Because they're entitled. It's that they're so used to being successful. When the wheels come off, and let's be honest, for every franchise, it happens. How successful for how long were the Detroit Red Wings? And where are they at now? They still suck, and they've sucked for quite some time. Imagine this fan base when that happens to the Golden Knights, because it happens to everybody.
Yeah, it's happening to the Sharks right now.
Exactly.
I would say Sharks fans are more entitled than Vegas fans.
Oh, boy, I don't know about that.
Yeah, how many Golden Knights games have you been to?
I've been to a few, just none in Vegas.
No, and you know what? And I know the I guess what am I trying to say? The crutch, right? The easy cop out is to say, oh well, Vegas fans are this, Vegas fans are that. I'm gonna say it again. I've said it every time I've gone to one of their games. Their fans are some of the nicest people ever.
I think that's just luck of the draw where you sit. I've sat next to some real pieces of work. And
oh, sure. Every fan base has pieces of work, no doubt about that. But I feel like, honestly, all the teams opposing fans that I've talked to it seems like, for the most part, for other teams, it seems like the pieces of work are the outlier. And it seems like for the Sharks, the pieces of work are the feature.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. Something that we should get into
like,
later.
It's not a coincidence. Like, dude, 2 games. The Sharks played 3 games this week. 2 of them had a fight in the crowd.
What was the other one?
Sharks in Vegas, and then Sharks against Nashville.
Oh, that's right. There was a thing in a dust up in Vegas. Didn't like the mascot have to break it up for some shit?
Dude, yeah, and it was funny because you could hear that section in the crowd like starting to get rowdy, and I said to the person next to me, like, what's the deal over there? Like, nothing's happening, right? Like, and then I saw Shang threw up a clip, and I'm like, oh, that's what was going on.
Yeah. Did you not see the social media garbage from Vegas fans after Game 7? Oh, yeah.
No,
there was a lot of Vegas fans, dude, saying, like, I hope fucking Pavelski feels that for the rest of his life. Like, they were so triggered over the call, not the fact that their team allowed 4 goals in 5 minutes.
No, see, and I'll tell you what, I
completely misdirected. But
I didn't see. You see, I don't subject myself subject myself to that kind of negativity. Like, I don't know, people like if any, and not to say that anyone in this chat is like triggered by those social media posts, but like if you are, like,
get off social media.
Yeah.
Like, I've said it 1,000 times before. Like if you're trying to be offended, it's not going to take you long to find something that will offend you.
Yeah.
So I did see something that I wanted to throw up here.
No masks at the game in Vegas. I thought that was an interesting experience.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I remember what this was. Anthony's saying there was a brawl in Anaheim tonight also, but it's in the parking lot. But there didn't seem like there was enough fans at the Anaheim game tonight for there to be a brawl.
Yeah, that's...
Oh! Anyway, let's get back to the Vegas game. We always get so sidetracked. So, look... Vlasic gets burned. Smith makes it 2-1. Then Smith makes it 3-1. Both of those off March or so. You can't really fault Sauzy on that one. Bottom line, the Sharks were outshot 31-17. It's another game where the Sharks fail to get quality shots on goal. So it is what it is. Then after that, because when was the last time San Jose beat Vegas?
The last time they beat Vegas was in November.
Like, who was president at that point?
It was November 21st, 2019, and the reason why I know that
because you gave it the jerk bump, right? You were there.
I was at the game in Vegas.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
I got the poster.
I've been there, done that, got the poster. So Sharks versus Nashville. I mentioned it earlier. 8-0 loss, worst loss in history since 2006. And Nashville came into this with just 2 wins in their previous 8, including losing to fucking Seattle.
I thought it was interesting. And I've had this conversation with many before, a couple in this chat, where it's like super offensively talented players will go to Nashville and immediately suck because whatever it is about Nashville, the offense goes to die in Nashville. And so when I saw the final score was 8-0, it kind of messed with my hypothesis a little bit.
Well, in Nashville, I don't know, maybe they got hot early, like maybe a little, because I remember earlier there was a stretch where Nashville was one of the best teams. There was like 2 or 3 weeks where they were just killing it. I don't know, maybe they flamed out too quick, but excuse me.
I mean, Nashville is, they're right on the cusp of a playoff spot. They're only 1 point out.
Puck guy throwing up overtime. November 2019, Logan had back-to-back OT winners.
Actually, Nashville is in a playoff spot right now. They're in the 8th seed.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They banked enough points, I think, when they were doing well. But they've kind of been running a little hot and cold.
4-6-0 in their last 10.
Yeah, the penalty kill for the Sharks, 3 of 4. So Nashville broke their streak. There wasn't any way that it felt like Nashville didn't score. And this is one where you sit there and go, oh, the Sharks went 0 for 3 on the power play. Yeah, they would have needed about 20 power plays for them to get back into this one. A fight in the stands showed more physicality than the Sharks. But
that was a pretty intense brawl. I don't know if you saw some of the footage of that, dude. There were like 10 heads involved in that fight. Like, I thought I was watching the Royal Rumble. I'll be totally honest with you.
Yeah, dude, you're not wrong, dude. I swear to God, I thought I saw like 1 or 2 guys like literally tap in.
Yeah, it was the most peculiar thing. Like, it was like,
dude. And I didn't see a whole lot of blue coats willing to play the hero.
Well, it's like, and so I'm watching it, and it's like, okay,
they're like, just kind of hanging back going, just relax. Stupid eventually tires itself out.
Well, like I'm watching, right? And it's like, okay, there's kind of 2 guys fighting in the middle and other people, other people are trying to like, it seemed to me like other people were trying to get the crowd to disperse, right? And then you have somebody who's way on the fringes of this mass of humanity like come over the top with a right, and I'm like, who is this?
Dude, I was waiting for somebody to take the footage and overdub like wrestling commentary. Off the top rope or whatever.
Yeah, it was the most peculiar thing ever.
Dude, that was weird. And what's funny is I almost went to the goddamn game on Saturday. Man, if I didn't have to pick up my wife from the airport. I'm telling you. So look, it's the most embarrassing loss of the season. And the thing that really has to be a kick in the balls. Like the juxtaposition of this is so ridiculous. It happens. You play the most embarrassing game of your season yet. Earlier, both Couture and Bugner told the press they're close. Like if they could just put a little run together, they'd be in the play. They could be looking at the playoffs. And I'm just going, fuck out of here with that noise. And then go out there.
They're close to being close.
Yeah, and then you go out there and stink up the entire place.
Now Nashville probably saw that quote and they're like, all right, watch this. And look at the stats. Matt Luff, 3 points. Phil Tomasino, 3 points. Michael McCarron, 4 points. Like they're big name players.
These are not the guys that the Predators are known for.
Dude, Philip Forsberg had an assist in an 8-0 win. Like, it was a depth game for them.
Oh, wait a minute. My man, 21 pucks, throwing in the super chat donation. Thank you so much. A black guy isn't worth $18 an hour. You know what? Solid point for them blue coats. Totally feel you on that. And again, like I said, chill out and tired will wear itself out.
So I was, in watching that footage, one of the ushers who was in there trying to disperse the crowd and get everything back to normal, his mask had slipped down for a little bit. Knowing what I know, I'm expecting this particular usher to get a conversation from their supervisor like, hey, we noticed your mask slid down a little bit. Even though he's trying to break up like a pretty intense rumble in the crowd.
Hold on, what's going on here from Kyle? He says, what happened to the other Sharks podcast? What, you mean Eric in After Dark? We took it over, dude. Don't you read descriptions?
The hijacking.
We hijacked this shit, man. Oh, wait. It says, I meant Fin Factor. Do you guys collab with them? No. We have our thing. They have their thing. And they're both beautiful things. That's why we're here.
There you
go. But yes, we haven't collabed with them. We you know who we have fun collabing with from time to time? Our buddies over at Let's Go Blues Radio. They don't take it too seriously. They drink good beer, and they're always up to chill. So anyway, this one again, Shang. This here. Okay, here's the thing I think is so funny. So Shang puts out Bugner and Couture were roasted online. The captain in particular for offering, quote, we're a run away from being close to a playoff spot. But what were they supposed to say with their backs against the wall? What are they supposed to say? Like, not that. It's fucking insulting.
That's the time where you whip out a cliche. We just need to take it game by game. Mm-hmm. We've had good stretches all year. We want to get back to that.
Yeah, to sit there and say we're a run away from being close to the playoff spot, I was just kind of like, was he misquoted? Like, are they looking for like a runaway to put on the team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just kind of like, maybe that was whatever. This one, we tracked this, and so we will continue to do so, as we always do. 13,936 tickets sold for this one. You're welcome, because, again, Saturday game and giveaway. That seems to be a key about having those higher numbers. It's a Saturday, and there's a giveaway. I feel like the Sharks should maybe take advantage of that fact if they want to kind of goose the numbers a little bit.
Stuff in the ballot box.
Mm-hmm. So... let's see here. Wait, Kyle coming back about Fin Factor. They're nice guys. Did we say that they're not? See, I like oranges. What's wrong with apples? I didn't mention apples. So what did we learn this week? We learned that Hill and Reimer will be out for a bit, and the franchise doesn't believe in their young goalies right now if you've traded to get Alex Stalock.
Well, because it's like I said, Bob hates young players.
Mm-hmm. So we have all these ridiculous names on the IR. We hope we, at the very least, see Karlsson back, because we know Ferraro's out for the season.
I think I saw Dahlin might be back on Saturday.
All right. I'd be down with that. Shaka saying the SAP Center will sell out when there's an AJ bobblehead. Sure. Stock up, stock down. Look, it's a small fucking list. Noah Gregor, you finally scored. Good for you. Keep it up.
Okay, stock up. Logan Couture. He's been,
Who?
He went through. He kept his head above water despite going through a pretty tough stretch, and now he's finally. He seems to have come out on the other side of that. You know what I mean? He's got a nice little run, going on here. He's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in his last 8 games. 7 in the last 9.
21 pucks. Don't make me ban you. Stop fucking trying to stir the pot, dude. None of that shit's remotely true. You smartass. So, all right.
I would say stock up just because Couture's been on a pretty solid run lately after, like I said, keeping his head above water during a pretty tough stretch.
Yeah. Okay, and we're getting some questions about Bugner here. Denver, I see you. We're going to get to that shortly with our takes on Bugner. Stock down, my lawn. I got no one to mow it, man. No, stock down. Anyone that's from the Sharks that says we're a run away from being close to a playoff spot, get the fuck out of here.
I would say stock down. I mentioned it last week, Hurdle and Meyer as a duo. So I'm not going to say that again. I think stock down would be, as much as I hate to say it, Barabanov, because he had the goal. What was it against the Islanders? He had a goal, but 1 goal in his last 5 games, and he's played well, but you need offense from him.
Absolutely.
And I would say my last stock down, Randy Hahn.
Oh, ho!
Because
yikes!
Where's
that coming from?
We've talked about it pretty, the last maybe month or so, where, Brett Hedican. We love Brett Hedican, but
speak for yourself, sir.
But he's had a propensity for carving young players, specifically Ryan Merkley, and the last couple games, Randy Hahn has gotten in on that a little bit, and I don't like it.
All right. Curtis, is Curtis Pashelka watching us for some reason? He just tweeted out Sharks record after 56 games last season, 49 points. This 55. Are we?
I've been.
Oh yeah, it was only 49 points.
I've been saying it all year. Better team despite a worse roster.
Yeah.
And I know some people are really into finding a positive. That's your positive.
All right. Stock down on Timo Meier as of late?
I mean, he was stock down last week, so I think it's unfair to give it to him 2 weeks in a row. But
is it also a case of stock down because he was killing it when he was with Hurdle, and then tonight they got him with Couture, and it's like, are they trying to spark one of their games? I don't know.
I think so because both of them have been rough lately. And Randy actually mentioned on the broadcast Hurdle only has 5 points in his last 15 games, which is, for the type of player Hurdle is, that's not enough.
Yes. I'll tell you on that. PJ48. Jerk, what do you think about people saying Barabanov isn't a top 6 forward?
I don't think they've been watching the game at all this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's not somebody who drives a line by himself, but if you put him with a really good center and a really good winger, he has success. He was playing well with Hurdle and Meyer, playing well. He's played well. He hasn't been there for a while, for very much, but there were a couple games where we saw Meyer, Couture, and Barabanov. He was good there as well. He needs good line mates, but the thing that I hang my hat on is that he can hang there. You know what I mean? He's not out of place by being up there.
He's exactly, for me, I kind of look at it. It's like he's not the steak, but he's definitely the spice, if you will. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's not going to be the best player on the line, but he's going to make that line better.
Right. And I think, and I've been saying it. I said it last week. The big four in terms of tracking tradable assets for the trade deadline: TSN, Sportsnet, Fourth Period, Daily Faceoff. None of them have Barabanov on their trade list.
Dude, I don't even know the guy's name.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe they don't see him the way I see him and the way we see him, or maybe there just is no chatter about him. It's hard to say, and I'm going to say it again. If I'm a team with Stanley Cup aspirations, I'm looking at a second line forward making $1 million, dude. I'm calling Joe Will.
Joe Will.
I'm calling Joe Will every day.
Man.
Every day.
All right, let's move on here before we get to the giving away the Sharky jersey. Isn't that cute?
A Sharky
jersey. Sharky. Oh, okay. Yeah, do what you need to.
Wordplay.
So we're 2 weeks away from the trade deadline as of now. Reports say contract discussions between Hertl and the Sharks are positive. So let's put a pin in that quote. Should Hertl get moved? I mean, if you're Hertl right now, like, what did we say? Like 3 wins in the last 11? Kid wants to win. Can't be. He's not stupid. Maybe he doesn't give the Sharks the opportunity to sign him. Maybe he's like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm looking at the roadmap, and I don't see any street that ends with a Stanley Cup in my hands. So if Hertl does get traded, would that or could that be the first domino to fall? Like Burns and Karlsson or whoever sees Hertl get moved, and they start looking at that roadmap and going, oh, fuck, I don't see the Sharks challenge. Like, we don't have a number 1 center anymore. Like, you can say Couture, sure, but it's because Hertl's gone, because Hertl's the number 1 center.
Yeah.
Do you think guys like Burns and Karlsson or whoever that know that this kind of like they're on their, essentially their last deals, do they start going, hey, you know what? Get me the fuck out of here.
I mean, I would give it a lot of thought, especially, like you said, I know we've had this debate before, what, like, is your happiness important to you? Is money important to you? Is winning important to you? And I think at this point, these guys that you mentioned, they've made their money. They've lived in the city. Like, they should want, I would say they should want to win at this point. Like,
I like Kyle's comment in the chat. The Sharks should offer Karlsson for Josh Norris and Stutzla. Oh, wait.
Like, I think, how many times have you said that this season alone that Burns plays his best hockey when Karlsson's not in the lineup?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Anthony asking, what potential cup contender can fit Hertl in the lineup? New York Rangers?
Yeah, I mean,
Boston Bruins?
Well, that's kind of like what we talked about last week, right? Where it's like, all the, any good team that would want Hertl, like they need to make sure they have room for him,
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, a Boston Bruins, again, there's ways to manipulate the salary cap, as we've seen
by Tampa Bay and Las Vegas.
Right. But, like Boston, Minnesota, New York Rangers, like, honestly, if you're asking me, those 3 teams I mentioned, those are my 3 Hertl watch targets, if you will.
All right. We're gonna get to the jersey giveaway, and we're gonna get to the Bob Boughner talk here in just a minute. I see that seems to be what is dominating the chat. Quick couple of hits here. On Tuesday, San Jose dropped the COVID booster mandate for venues like SAP Center. Vax is still required, but masks, are now recommended, quote unquote, rather than mandatory, which means that a lot of people are just going to be like, hey, I'm boosted. I'm not even bringing a mask.
Well, that's like,
I might be one of those people, to be honest. Like, if I'm next to somebody and they're like, I hate to ask this, but I'd be more comfortable if you had a mask on or some shit. I'd be like, yeah, okay, no problem. I got one. It's no sweat off my back. So
the thing that's going to be, it was kind of, there's no requirements for the game in Vegas on this past Tuesday. So it's kind of a free for all. I didn't wear a mask. I've had, a million COVID shots. But this game coming up Thursday against the LA Kings is going to be interesting. They, it's basically
who's LA Kings?
Yours.
Thank you.
You basically, if you're going to an LA Kings game, you basically have 2 choices. It's negative test plus mask or vaccine plus no mask. Those are your choices. And it doesn't take a genius to realize that that's for entry purposes only. As soon as you show your negative test, you get in the building, you take the mask off, and you go on your merry way. There's no mask police there saying, "Hey, let me see your vaccine card." Like, it's strictly for entry purposes. So
Well, somebody had brought up.
I imagine you're going to see the same thing at the tank.
Well, that they dropped the mandate. Somebody had made. I wish I could remember what the hell it was, but something like, "Oh, so does that mean the blue coats are going to stop pretending as if they're looking at your vax card?"
Dude, that's so okay. That's so true because I've been to 3 Sharks games at the tank this year, and I want to do things the right way. I stand in the right line. I got my mask. I have the Clear app. I do the whole thing, dude. I didn't even have, for the Clear app, I didn't even have the QR code that has my picture up yet. And they were like, "Okay, cool, thank you." And I'm like, "I didn't even show it to you."
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I'm telling you. We mentioned it earlier. The Sharks traded future considerations to Edmonton for former Sharks goaltender Alex Stalock. There's only 2 reasons to do this. We know it. It's Reimer and Hill's injuries, perhaps worse than expected, or the Sharks, I was thinking, were planning to trade Reimer, but with him being injured now, probably not going to happen. But
the Sharks are not trading Reimer until next year. I don't know why people have it in their head.
I know. And then
like, do people think his contract ends this year? I'm legitimately curious.
Sure. I mean, there's some people that don't understand if Labanc is still on IR. So, of course. Somebody did mention earlier that they say that the game against Florida will be a sellout because of Jumbo. For those of you who don't know, Jumbo's on the IR right now, so Jumbo might not be there. And how much is that going to suck for the Sharks, Oof.
I think anybody who's a grown adult will get over it.
They'll get over it, but they'll it'll still be a case of, I don't know the extent of Jumbo's injury, but he at the very least has to make the trip so he can watch his Tribbit video. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Because this might be the last run. Let's be honest. I mean, how many games has Chief played this season? Like half the schedule?
He has played
like 20-something?
I don't even know why I'm looking this up for you. He's played 24 out of 55.
There you go. So less than half. I don't know that, despite the fact that he's a season away from breaking Marlowe's games played record, I don't know that that's going to happen, to be honest. But anyway, let's go around the division, a little bit of NHL. As I mentioned previously, what if Vegas misses the playoffs? They did fall fourth this week, earlier in the division. Couple wins against Anaheim and Ottawa. Not exactly world beaters, but those wins count. They are having trouble scoring, but this division is insanely tight, okay? Just a couple of days ago, 5 points separated 2nd and 6th place. Now, to put some perspective on that, the difference in points in the Atlantic between 2nd and 6th, 34. In the Metro, 27. And in the Central, 13. So for there to only be 5 to now, after everything that is shaken out, it's now 8 points. But still, man, that's pretty close. Dude, a stretch of like 10 days, all of a sudden your Canucks could be knocking out my Kings.
Yeah. And you know what the thing is, the Curtis Browns of the world will talk about how we'll talk about how competitive the division is.
Mm-hmm.
I say it's bad.
Yeah. It's bad. Divisional games left as of now, I believe. Anaheim, for me, blew their wad. Yeah, okay, you beat San Jose tonight. Good for you. But Anaheim, for me, blew their wad. They only have 6 left against their division. And
dude, remember when I was saying in November that Anaheim was
the outlier?
Was the false positive for me?
Mm-hmm.
And look who was right.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, they only have 6 divisional games left, so not a lot of help in that regard.
Nope.
Calgary, 12 left. That's going to help them, obviously, try to keep that spot at the top of the Pacific Division. Edmonton with 10. Edmonton, since getting Kane, they've kind of been a little up and down. I'm going to be real focused on what they do between now and the deadline.
They still need a goalie.
Exactly. So kind of interested to see how Edmonton shakes everything out. LA has 14 divisional games left.
Run it up.
That's all I'm saying. San Jose has 13. Whoop-de-doo. Seattle has 9. Woohoo. But Vancouver only has 9. So it could be a little tougher for them to do the jerk dance and up the ladder. And Vegas has 9 as well. So between now and the deadline in 2 weeks, who do you think is going to be the biggest splash in the division, in the Pac-Div, between now and the deadline? Both as a buyer, but who's going to make the biggest splash as a seller?
I think as a buyer, so Vegas made their move. It was Eichel.
Eichel, of course.
Calgary made their move. It was Toffoli.
Mm-hmm.
My money is
Thank
on.
you.
My money is on. I'm looking at for biggest buyer, LA Kings. But
I could see that. See, but I'm also I'm giving Edmonton the horse eye.
Well, Edmonton got Evander Kane, right? That was their big move. That was their big move at forward. But
that cost them next to nothing.
It cost them money. That's it.
Yeah.
Edmonton needs. I mean, they need a goalie. And I know people have said, what about Fleury? What about Reimer? I still think Edmonton needs to go the route of getting an established guy, Georgiev, Korpisalo, one of these guys who's younger, more of a long-term option. You dig? And so
you dig.
I think it's a tie. It's a tie between LA and Edmonton for me. I think Edmonton, obviously, in the goaltending department, that's kind of their big, hole in the wall, if you will.
Sure.
I would say for the LA Kings, probably help at defense. Alex Edler has been hurt pretty much all year. Sean Walker has been hurt. I still think LA stands to acquire a defenseman. Their forwards are pretty good, but if I were them, I would want another defenseman, even if he doesn't play, just to have that body as an option. And, I'm wondering, I would have to look to see who's available, but I don't think it would be a depth option. I see the LA Kings making a swing for a bigger name on the blue line. Maybe the LA Kings, even though I don't necessarily agree with what Montreal wants, maybe the LA Kings go after somebody like Ben Sherratt.
All right.
So I think it's LA and Edmonton for the buyers.
Okay, and hold on. Before we get to the sellers, I got to take a couple of comments because they're fucking hysterical. Kyle asking, can the Sharks put Nabby in net? I mean, they could if Nabby wanted to. But...
More clutching to the past.
Yeah. Kevin pointing out, only game close to a sellout the remainder of the season is when Marleau is signed for his farewell game on Fan Appreciation Night. Now,
clutching of the past.
I would almost agree with you, but who are the Sharks playing on Fan Appreciation Night? Chicago. And who's part of the Sharks now that used to play for Chicago and was recently inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame? I don't think that they're going to crowd Marleau into that for that one.
Why are we talking about Marleau?
Because somebody asked. Okay, here. Why does Jerk not have a webcam? That's a question. Because he's a cheap bastard.
Next question.
Who makes the biggest splash as a seller? You think it's going to be the Sharks?
No. God, no. Are you kidding me, dude?
If Hurdle...
Dude, the Sharks think they're still in a playoff spot.
So what Couture? That's one guy. But if Hurdle says, no, we're not in a playoff spot, and I would prefer to be. Again, what if Hurdle forces their hand? Whatever the return is, would that not be the biggest part, the biggest seller in just based on
it would be the biggest
okay, if it's not Hurdle
deal.
Okay, if it's not Hurdle, who makes the biggest splash between now and the deadline in the Pacific for selling off something?
The Kraken, easily.
What, Giordano or something? Back to Calgary?
That's what people are saying. People are saying.
Oh, many people are saying.
Like, you have so many. Seattle has so many pending unrestricted free agents. Calle Jarnkrok, Marcus Johansson, Colin Blackwell, Mark Giordano. Like, those are all, I don't think any of those guys, with the exception of Giordano, I don't think any of those guys are on the same level as Hurdle on his own. But collectively, I think Seattle could be very shrewd in picking up a lot of pieces for their future.
All right. Who would you rather have in goal? If it's your choice between two names, you can only pick one for the next 3 games for the Sharks. Who would you want in goal, Stalock or David Ayres?
I don't answer stupid questions.
You know, we always laugh at this type of shit on Discord, but here he's all fucking serious. All right. Aesthetics broke the news that the NHL is revamping the Stanley Cup logo. Unfortunately, we're not going to see a return to unique logos each year, but instead more fucking blandness. I don't get this. So, look, here's the logo we're showing to you on the screen for those of you watching live on YouTube. That's the logo that, you know, don't mind the 2013 on there. That's the logo that we've come to know for the last, decade and a half-ish. That's what we all know it as. And evidently, that's going to be changing to whatever the fuck this is. Now, let's be honest. If you look at that, doesn't it kind of the outline look a little bit like the Vegas Golden Knights outline of their logo?
I would like to point out you do know it's just going to be the shield with the cup. It's not the whole lanyard, right?
Of course.
Okay, I just want to. You had me worried.
No. But just that shield, right? Like, first off, it has the same outline as Vegas.
Okay.
But to me, like, this is actually more. This is worse. This is more bland than the current one. And so when I talk about like the blandness or whatever, it's because I think about the NFL, like. I'm showing you some logos from past Super Bowls, and you can look at the current stretch on the bottom where it's the same fucking thing every season. Just bolt on an extra letter, nothing else changes. Whereas back in the day, every Super Bowl logo was very distinctive and really stood out, and they would try to put a little something in there that had to do with the host city. Now, I get it. It's different because Super Bowl, one game, winner take all, the place that it's going to be played at is determined years in advance versus, you know, not knowing who's going to be in the cup final until the last 2 teams are ready to go, right? So I get that, but still I feel like they could still do something with the Stanley Cup logo to make it a little more interesting. Maybe you use a logo from, like, I don't know, 03 or something, the circle patch that they had, but you use the 2 primary colors of the teams that are participating in the cup, you know, to kind of set it off or set it apart from other ones. You know what I mean? But
for sure. I do agree. I mean, the logo on the bottom that you're showing here, I do actually like that logo. I think it's a nice logo, but you compare it to the top row, and you're right. There's no pizzazz. There's no flair. There's no interest. Yeah, originality. That's a good word to use. There's nothing interesting.
Jeez, I don't know. Whatever. But of course, it goes back to beg the question. Say this, whether this new logo is it or the old one. I have a question to ask. You know, you go from this logo, that logo, blah blah blah. Well, my question being, if there are ads on the jerseys, where does the cup patch go? Or do the ads disappear during the playoffs?
The ads probably disappear only because think about the NHL. Like, think about the Stanley Cup final. The NHL takes over the advertising on the boards and the ice anyway.
All right. But if you think about it, it is kind of funny. It's like, yes, let's take away the advertisement when the most amount of people are watching the game. I love it. All right, so at this point, we are going to get to Doug, Jesus Christ. We're going to get to Bob Boughner into a second, but it's time to talk about a giveaway. With 26 games as of now, when we talk again, we're going to be catching you up on just 2 games, both against the LA Kings, or what Jerk likes to refer to as a home and home. Yes?
Correct.
Okay. So here's the giveaway details, people. I had to try to find something, a question, some way to say, look, I got to find something that's not easily Googled. right? So here's what it is. I have 2 of these jerseys. We're going to give away one tonight. Probably going to do one more next weekend for the next Pucknologist. Again, as always, hit the subscribe button right now if you're watching us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on whatever platform you're on. But here's the question. Do me a favor, please, and listen to the things that I'm about to say if you want to win this jersey, because it counts. All right? First off, in order to enter, you have to enter on Twitter and DM at Pucknologists. Don't put it out in public because we don't want people copying your work. So DM at Pucknologists on Twitter. The DM is open, and I'm doing it on Pucknologists because we all have access to the Teal Town account, and I don't want to inundate everybody with notifications of DMs. So at Pucknologists, all right? Here we go. We're not including player-specific tracks, like when Nason when he would score, they'd play Hakuna Matata, or when Hurdle would score, they'd play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're not including player-specific tracks. There have been 4, in the history of the Sharks, 4 primary goal songs. What are the titles and the names of the artists? And spelling counts.
Dude, I'm going over to Twitter and I'm answering this right now.
Spelling counts. All right. The title of the song and the artist. Spelling counts. If you get the if you give me the proper name of one of the artists, but you misspell it, you're out. All right. So again, I wanted to make this somewhat difficult, like you had to know, but it wasn't something you could just go to a Wikipedia page or Google and get the information super duper quick. This is going to separate some fans from others, your level of fandom, okay? So that's how you can win a Sharks jersey. And if we have multiple, it's really going to be funny if like no one fucking gets it right. I guess at that point I'll have to like take the one that got closest. But if there's multiple entries, we'll put them all in a bowl or a randomizer next week, and we'll announce it next Sunday on show 155 of the Pucknologist. So make sure, if you're interested in getting one of these, if you enter, you want to find out, check us out on the next show. And so with that, let's start to wrap it up because we have to get to the Bob Boughner stuff. Jerk, your Canucks are doing a little bit better. They're slowly climbing, dude. 2-game win streak, a record of 28, 23, and 6. Or 62 points. They've climbed from 7th to 5th in the at one point, weren't they like bottom? They were like underneath Seattle at one point. Like it was going bad.
Yeah, it was looking critical. And they've been able to turn it around. They're not obviously in a playoff spot. But they have, like I said, they have turned it around. They're getting ready to pass the Sharks, I would think, if they haven't. Oh no, they've already passed the Sharks, so even better.
Yeah, dude.
And I think
someone's got to be 7th.
I would say by next week, when we record next Sunday on March the 13th, I think Vancouver is going to be ahead of Anaheim.
I would agree. I'd be interested in seeing how many times Anaheim and Vancouver see each other if they have any more games, because like I said, Anaheim only has 6 left in the division, but it did seem like Vancouver had a decent amount of divisional games left, but we'll see what happens. Dude, my Kings, 69 points, my brother, 2nd in the division. They're only 4 points out from Calgary, man, and they're running shit. Like they're putting some good shit together. But the one thing I believe I noticed about LA, I think they have a better record away from the crypt. So if they can get some I don't know, little roadie going, we'll see what happens. But I don't know. It looks going to be, dude, only 7 points between our dark horses. It's going to be fun to, when the Sharks are officially out. This is the one thing that you and I can hang on to. You know what I mean?
No kidding.
It's like the one thing is like, oh, I got it. The Ian bet, if I remember correctly, Martin Jones has gotten his 20th start. Is that correct?
Let me double check that for you.
I want to say yesterday there was, I believe it was a 4-3 win. But
he's actually had 21 starts.
Oh shit. Okay, so the 20 start threshold has been met, but what is his save percentage as of right now?
Apologies. 21 games played, 20 starts. You were correct.
Yes.
7, 10, and 3. 349 goals against average, 897 save percentage.
897. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you pull up Martin Jones's save percentage the previous 3 seasons to this one?
Yeah, it's 896, 896, and 896.
Wow. All right, so
model of consistency.
Dude, so much consistency. So let's. That's so not fair. What'd you do? Copy it from the show notes, you asshole?
Are they in the show notes?
At the very bottom.
Oh, I had no idea. I just know the answer.
All right. So first show of each month, we always cover the kids. This is going to go by real fucking fast. For those of you who don't know, Barracuda, worst team in the AHL. They did win tonight. Good for them. I believe 4-2 or something like that. Nick Merkley scored a couple, but they're 17-28.
John Leonard had a hat trick.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that. I saw that he'd scored twice. I didn't. Oh, so they must have won like 6-2 then or something?
Call up Leonard. Hashtag.
But goals, it's still believe it's Reedy, Nick Merkley with 20 assists. Nick Merkley and Blichfeld are tied for 31 points on the team. Melnichuk still sucks ass, 862 with a 396 goals against. Why do they suck? Because they do. The prospects, same ones. We got 3.
At least the prospects are playing well.
Yeah. So you got Brandon Coe with 81 points in 49 games. Tristan Robbins with 67 points in 50 games. Daniil Gushkin, 55 points in 37 games. Gannon Larocque, well, look, he's a defenseman, so that's why he's dragging ass and not better than a point per game with 46 and 53. And then you've got Ozzy Weisblatt. Talk about the picture of consistency. 40 points in 40 games. All right, so let's get to the Bob Boughner shit here, and this is what I wanted to start with because it's time for our tweet of the week, and it's a good one, people. This was sent in by a person I think goes by the name, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Hockey Jerk.
Oh my God.
This is what came in from Brian Witt. Now, let me tell y'all, Brian Witt used to work for NBCSN Bay Area. And as far as I know, like he mostly wrote about the Giants and the Warriors. Like that was his bread and butter. But every once in a while, he would draw the short straw for who had to write the Sharks article that day. And man, when he did, watch the fuck out because they would be bad. But this is what he tweets out. I lose followers whenever I tweet about the Sharks, but it must be said, Bob Boughner's got to go. Now, 2 things. First off, I lose followers whenever I tweet about the Sharks. Then don't tweet about the Sharks. You know, if that's important to you. As a doctor, it hurts when I do this. Don't do that. But Bob Boughner's got to go. So let me ask this. First, it's pretty fucking sad that a journalist is throwing out hot takes. But, you know, that's generally how NBCSN rolls. Explain this to me, though. And this is not me trying to be sarcastic. This is me generally wanting an explanation. Explain to me, how is it Bob Boughner's fault that both the goalies and half the defense is on the injured reserve list? The team lost their top scorer from last season. You have 4 fourth-liners playing third line because the team has no depth. Explain to me, how the hell is any of that Bob Boughner's fault?
Well, those things aren't Bob Boughner's fault, but what Bob Boughner's fault is using players in the correct position in order to mitigate those issues. I know words, as well as
mitigate.
You know, giving young players a chance to do anything. I mean, how many days has it been talked about this year? Oh, the Sharks have so many young players and rookies getting called up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look. You know, now Weatherby has had a decent season, but he's gotten the shaft quite a bit this year. We've talked at length about Jonathan Dahlen. You look at what happened with William Eklund, you know, getting like.
But that's not on Bob.
It is on Bob.
Eklund?
Yes, it's not okay. It's
I
not
think
Bob's
Eklund
fault.
was getting
It's
sent
not
back
Bob's.
either way.
It's not Bob's fault that Eklund only had 4 assists. It is Bob's fault that Eklund got scratched, despite the fact that he was, playing well. It is Bob's fault that Eklund was not used the way he should have been. And even then, players that have made positive impressions,
Puck
right?
guy calling it out. He says, "Yeah, it's Bob's fault that Lane Peterson's on the second power play unit." Absolutely, I'll give you. Day and night, I would give you that. And to be fair, if memory serves, I think Lane Peterson scored tonight for the Barracuda. Like the first goal. Hi, Moduel.
But you look at what's happened, right? Nick Merkley came in and played well. No, we need Lane Peterson.
Fuck it. Keep him humble.
Reedy played well, but not better than Peterson, evidently. Same with Raska.
Well, we've seen guys like Reedy and Weatherby or Nick Merkley. There's been a few different cats that have gotten a shot. I mean, if Leonard
gotten a shot, but why does Lane Peterson get to do nothing and stick around for so long?
Well, not only that, do nothing, stick around for so long, be on the power play unit. Meanwhile, Balcers is sitting on the fucking bench.
That's what I'm saying. And the big one being Ryan Merkley. Like, with Erik Karlsson injured, Ryan Merkley should be your PP2 guy.
Yeah, like why are you fucking scratching him?
Yeah, why are you flip-flopping him with Šimik? What is that?
Yeah, that makes no sense. So that I'll give you. I completely agree with what you're saying. Denver is saying that because of all the excuses Bugner gives and how he treats rookies while ignoring veterans' constant mistakes.
That is true. I don't think and I've been saying it on Twitter the last little while. I don't think Brent Burns needs to be healthy scratched, but I would like players like Burns and Vlasic to be held to some kind of standard. Like, if you ask me, those two players in particular are hardcore resting on their laurels.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
They are living off of their clout.
But
Burns
they're good
won
in
a
the room,
Norris
dude.
Trophy 5 years ago.
They're good in the room, though, bro.
Apparently.
That's all that matters, right? Dude, yeah, did Doug Wilson waste a fourth on Lane Peterson?
Yes.
Dude, how is that not a kick in the balls? You wasted a fourth on this guy, and, dude, he's so bad that you fucking waived him, and nobody took him. And you wasted a fourth on that. And you see that, that's some asset mismanagement.
And here's the thing. I think you look at what Lane Peterson did in the WHL. You look at what he did in the AHL. He's obviously a good player at those levels. And so I think, okay, the Sharks think maybe this guy is poised for a breakout. I don't hate them taking a chance on him. I just don't understand giving up a draft pick for somebody who had only done well in the AHL. Like, I almost wonder, do you see if he plays in the NHL this year for the Coyotes and then you take a chance? Do you maybe try and make him part of the Hill Kozhinash deal?
Yeah. Jeez. All right. So, I mean, you're talking me into it. I said it early on. We mentioned this before that for all the dumping on Bob, I sat there and said, look, I love dumping on people just as much as the next person, but I thought Bugner should get some credit for kind of getting the
penalty kill is good.
Well, penalty, and it has been. It was good last year too. It was the only thing that was good last year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Bob. But that's the thing. Even when Bob was
fetch me a real head coach and just put Bob in charge of the PK. Then we'll be fine.
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is when Bob got hired back in 2016. It was Bob handles the PK and the defenseman, and those were solid that year.
Absolutely. So maybe that's just what needs to be happening. But look, I thought Bugner should have been given some credit for kind of bringing the team a little bit together. We've seen way more fight out of them this season. How many times last season with Jones? And I mean, they got down 1 goal. You might see them try to claw back a little bit. Once they get down by 2, it's like, oh, fuck, fetch me my white flag so I can wave it. Mm-hmm. But this year, they've had some fight. But over the last, I don't know, since the All-Star break, like there's some guys that do they still think they're in Cancun or something? Like, is it time to look at this? If Leonard's getting a hat trick, you got Blickfeld doing some cool shit. Like maybe this is the opportunity where you sit there and go, hey, you know what? We got this group of fourth liners, right? The O line.
Mm-hmm.
Let them play fourth line minutes, and let's put together a group. You know, we got Leonard, Blichfeld, and who do you throw at center then? Maybe you put Bonino there.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
And then let Weatherby down there with like Cogliano and VL or something, or whoever the knuckle dragger is.
Nieto.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Nieto.
I mean, because that's the thing. People are going to say, well, Leonard's not ready. Blichfeld's not ready. And it's like the Sharks are not making the playoffs this year. They are a bad team.
Yeah.
And we said this last year. We said this 2 years ago. We're going to say it this year. If you're a bad team and you have no chances or hopes of going to the playoffs, you need to see what you have in certain players. I know our colleague Ian Reed has said, I like Blichfeld, but I'm worried that he's reaching the point where it's like, yeah, you don't have it, and we're going to cut ties with you. Blichfeld has played 8 NHL games since he's turned pro in North America.
Isn't he the one who got like suspended for daring to breathe near McKinnon or something?
Yeah. I would like to, and not only that, Blichfeld hasn't even played this year. Like,
yeah.
I want to see, and again, that's not to say, I'm not saying that Blichfeld and Leonard are the solutions here, but bring them up. Like, you tried Raska, you tried Reedy, and that's fine. They had a good showing, but that's it. Try somebody else. But when you're, oh, well, you know, and I talked about it last week. I liked Gadjevic's week last week.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't understand claiming him off of waivers.
Agreed.
You know, I think you have VL. I like VL. VL does a certain thing, and that's great. But
well, it's like getting Erik Karlsson. It's like, what do you need him for? You already have Burns.
Especially with, Dahlin is hurt. Dzingel is getting the jam job, right? Balcers has been kind of streaky. Especially those things. And if you're going to lose Barabanov potentially, try Blichfeld and Leonard. What do you have to lose?
Dude, Shmolevsky or Shmolevsky, whatever. But
even he's had a good year.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You throw out Sasha in between Blichfeld and Leonard.
Halbgewachs has had a good year. Nick Merkley's had a good year.
Yeah, I don't think Halbgewachs is ever going to get a good look. And I thought even he did fine was when he was up here for the COVID Express.
Yeah, dude, he was buzzing those 2 games with Hurdle and Meyer.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, okay, so yeah, you're talking me more into it. Like, yeah, maybe
that's the thing.
Might have to be on the fire jam job Bob at this point. But
here's the thing: the Sharks, they're not going to the playoffs. Like,
really, what?
But here's the thing: you have nothing to play for except seeing what you have in your young players.
Yeah. And Bugner only has, if memory serves, he only has 1 year left on his contract after this.
Yeah, next year, yeah.
Yeah, so it's buying it out, or no, it's not going to cost you a whole lot because you're just paying for 1 more year. And then I guess we can we can see an interview with Doug Wilson saying, here's another head coach that we talked to before we decided on Bugner.
Well, and here's the thing. I know people, and I mentioned it earlier, but, people have said, oh, the Sharks are bad anyway. Who cares if you have a bad coach? But it's like you want a coach that's going to get young players in there. How many years, AJ, have you been hearing me say the Sharks need a head coach that's never coached in the NHL before?
Oh, tons.
Especially you have so many young players. Like, I know
Marco Sturm.
Yeah, Marco Sturm was a good choice. I'm quite particular to David Quinn. I'll be totally honest with you. I know he kind of got the shaft, leaving the Rangers, but I like David Quinn. I like him as a guy who can bring along young players. I mean, everybody is in love with the Rangers this year, right? Oh, man, Rangers are so good. Look at Chris Drury. Look at Gerard Gallant. But, the previous GM and the previous coach, their fingerprints are on that team.
Mm-hmm. Let's hit up Lacey's comment. Does firing Bugner help the Sharks this season? No, of course not. Nothing helps.
It doesn't
the
help
Sharks.
them. It doesn't help them in the standings, but it helps them get younger players in the lineup to see what you have in them.
Okay, fair point. So what are we talking? It's another situation just like DeBoer a couple years ago, where it's like, hey, Ricci, you want to lead the team for 25 games? Just make sure you play the youth.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's
And I swear
especially.
to God, dude, if they fucking bring over Roy Sommer, my head's gonna explode.
Well, dude, don't you know he's the development fucking dynamo? You know,
He's the straw that stirs the
he's the
drink.
reason that you love Pavelski so much, don't you know?
My man.
Jesus.
Okay, dude. We let the I like where fanatical teal bleeder is going. We just let fans brawl it out WWE style, no holds
Hell
barred.
yeah.
Last man standing gets to coach the Sharks that night.
Dude, I'd love to coach the Sharks, even for a game.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I would do better than Bob Bugner, but I would like an honest chance.
I think that's all what we all want, right? It's just an honest chance.
Kyle
Yeah.
Kyle
Any
Hipwell, new name, Kyle Hipwell in the chat. Shout out, saying what about Dave Tippett? I think Dave Tippett's a good coach, but he's a veteran coach. He's not going to play the young guys.
yeah, another guy from the
That's
the old guys club.
People have been saying since
Many people.
since Dave Tippett, and again, I like Dave Tippett as a coach, but since Tippett has gotten fired and they replaced him with Jay Woodcroft, Evan Bouchard, who's a good young defenseman, has been playing incredibly well. So, and again, I like Dave Tippett, but he's not a coach who's going to play the young guys.
Gotcha. Who took over for Woodcroft
Who?
for the AHL squad?
You know, I don't know. I'm not too sure, to be totally honest with you.
I just assumed that they shifted somebody,
Because he brought his assistant coach up with him.
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of like,
And Kevin Lacey backing me up. Thank you, Kevin.
Dave Tippett hates young players. Oh boy! All right, for everybody that watched and hung out with us tonight, we thank you so much for doing that. This is the last call for final questions. AMA, baby. Anything you want to ask right now, Sharks related, personal, whatever. I'm not saying we're going to answer all of them. I'm just saying if you want to get a question in, now's the time to do it. You can follow him at hockey_jerk on the social. You can follow me at AJ_strong. Remember to leave your take in the comments section of this video. If you weren't able to join us live. If you were able to join us live and you thought, hey, you know what? I forgot to say something in the chat. Boom. Add that below on the comment of this YouTube video. Remember to subscribe to us if you listen to us on an audio platform. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, whatever. Follow us on our social media channels. You can find everything at Tealtown USA. And again, if you ever want to throw anything on our tip jar, we would certainly appreciate it, which you can find on Venmo at Tealtown USA, just like everything else, baby. Not required. Not saying that you have to. I'm just saying it's there. That's all. It's like saying the sky is blue.
Just like mask mandates, it is recommended.
Love it. Love it. So here we go. Last looks at the chat before we get the fuck out of here. How can the Sharks fix their coaching situation? Well, they can get a new coach. I mean, that seems pretty obvious to me, right?
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Seems fine. Whoever their remaining assistant coach was, and John Anderson became the new Bakersfield head assistant coach. Well, there you go. Colin... Please tell me that that's pronounced caulk and not chalk, because it's just funnier. But evidently that person is the Condors' interim head coach. So can we get a pronunciation guide on that last name? I would appreciate that.
That's a Kevin question.
Of course. King of pronunciations right there. Cheering, Ramon saying, cheering for the Yotes now. They know how to properly run a dumpster fire of a team. How many straight, top picks does Arizona need to get for anything to change there?
I don't know, man. I mean, pull up cap friendly, right? You look at what they're working with, dude. They've got 3 firsts and 5 seconds this year. Now,
are they going to trade all of that away for, some player on his last legs?
Well, so
it's chalk. God damn it.
Here's the thing is the Arizona Coyotes, obviously you look at the roster that they wheeled out there this year. with all those draft picks, it probably makes sense for them to draft with all of them and kind of do that slow maturation together with all their prospects. I know words, but this is how I think about it, right? And you look at, and I'm going to say it again, 3 first-round picks, 5 second-round picks.
Oh,
do you not look? Do you not
They're
like?
they're gonna figure out a way to Arizona this dude and fuck it
But
all up.
what I'm saying is, I know like people love draft picks, and they love prospects. But I feel like if I'm Arizona, I'm gonna read the terrain on the restricted free agent situation this summer, and if somebody can't come to terms with their team, I might toss one of those draft picks out there. I mean, it depends on how Arizona wants to attack this, right? If they want to do the slow maturation, then yeah, draft with all your picks. But like, if you want to kind of get back to some level of competitiveness sooner rather than later, maybe see if you can snipe a couple young players who are already NHL established.
Man, that would be interesting.
And the thing is, that's 3 firsts and 5 seconds right now. They're not getting anything. They're probably going to get a second for Phil Kessel at the trade deadline.
Do you think they'll get that much for him?
I think so. Dude, 34 points in 55 games on a crappy team.
Solid.
They're gonna get a pick for Phil Kessel. They don't really have anything else interesting on the forward front, but on defense, Anton Strawman is not what he was, but he's still a decent defenseman. I think they could get a 3rd or a 4th round pick for him. Jacob Chychrun is kind of the big kahuna. The word on the street is 2 first-round picks and an A prospect.
So would that be the same that you would look for Hurdle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we always say. You say, we've said all the time. People talk about how much stuff costs. Salary cap, assets, draft picks, whatever. If you want to play, you got to pay.
With the available head coaches looking for work, what makes the most sense for the Sharks to replace Bugner with next season?
I
think you got to wait until
he's available.
Yeah, I think you got to wait until the offseason and find out who gets moved, who doesn't. There could be some other moves that we're just not even aware of at this point. But look, that offseason, at least for the Sharks, is going to be here before you know it. that little E is going to be next to their name in the standings, mofo.
It's going to be very interesting because, I mean, we've talked about it before. The way the Sharks are built.
Lacey with the comment.
That's correct, and so Chychrun probably will get more, but to say that Hurdle, and I'm not saying Kevin is saying this, but to say that Hurdle is worthless because he's a pending UFA, it's a fool's game.
Yeah.
Like Hurdle, I think will still get a pretty penny, not a Chychrun return, but still a pretty penny return. With the way the Sharks are built with their long-term contracts and everything like that, we've talked about this before. They have to at least try every year. Try to be a good team. Try to be a playoff team. In this offseason, if it's going to be more of the same, if it's going to be the 4th year in a row of we want to see what we have, it's not working. Like if you want to try, you got to do something a bit crazy. Maybe that's trading Burns. Maybe that's trading Couture. Maybe that's kind of pushing all your chips in the table for a big unrestricted free agent. But you got to do something because the current formula is not working.
Dude. And we don't know what is going on with Doug Wilson medically, right? We just don't know. There's been no information given. What if, and this is all we can ask, is it's all we can do is just, I don't want to say speculate, but just ask the question, what if whatever's Doug is dealing with, they make the choice, talking with his wife, his family, he makes the choice, you know what? I need to step away from being a general manager. I need to resign because I need to focus on my health and the stress of being a general manager in the NHL doesn't work for me anymore. So I'm a bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, a lot of times when you hire a new GM, one of the first things they want to do is they kind of want to put their stamp on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
makes you wonder who the next GM could potentially be and what their decision would be. Like, okay, so would there be nepotism? Would they say, hey, you know what, Junior, you've done such a great job drafting over the last couple of years. Well, why don't you try GMing? That might be cool.
No, I'd keep him over there.
I absolutely would. But it just makes you wonder who the next one could be. That being said, best wishes for Doug Wilson and hope he has a speedy recovery for whatever is ailing him, although I think Speedy left about a month ago. But remains to be seen. Again, I'm kind of circling April 23rd on my calendar. If Doug makes an appearance at the Blackhawks game, then I think we're kind of going, all right, well, it's good. He's come out. He's made an appearance, and hopefully that's a sign of something positive. If he does not make an appearance at that game, then I think maybe it's time to start to get a little worried.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, with that, again, remember to subscribe to us on the YouTube channel here. Tell a friend if you can. We'd appreciate that. Or, hey, better yet, open up like 10 burner accounts and subscribe with all of them. I mean, what else are you going to do during once the Sharks are eliminated, right? You got to come up with something. So follow us on social media. If you listen to the podcast on something like a Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, whatever, help us out. Subscribe on that platform. Leave us a review. We would certainly appreciate that. You can find links to our social media, podcast applications, and more in the description below on the platform you're listening to us now. So find everything on Teal Town USA. You can remember to check out After Dark post-game after every single Sharks game, which means upcoming Thursday and Saturday, home and home against LA. That's our show. We thank you very much for watching and or listening. Remember, at Pucknologists for your entries for the Sharks jersey contest. We will announce the winner on next week's show, which will be episode 155. And with that, we thank you very much for joining us. I'm your host, AJ Strong, and we got our man in Amsterdam, the Hockey Jerk. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.